As usual, yes, we've seen a very grim picture for what is coming in future for us, and probably I shall try to show that there's also some light at the end of the tunnel, and we hope that this light is not train approaching us on high speed, but somehow the nature is on our side. And this is a picture from the wall of our department at the House of Nature at the University of Latvia. There are some very peculiar objects shown on it. And this is somehow related to the fact that Latvians in general are very passionate mushroom pickers. In autumn, you see there's rows of cars standing on the roadside, and the people just from office, just from his university or institution are going into woods and looking for mushrooms, and some of them use very well this knowledge to produce really bestsellers of books, and some of them are trying to adopt lab technologies to enhance their success in mushroom picking. And here, as I was already introduced, there's shiitake mushrooms of the highest quality, grown after own sort of proprietary technology in the Latvian elder logs. So we can do also in this way. But today's topic is not about shiitake mushrooms or Lentinuloidodes. Today's topic is about other mushrooms, which are also very abundant and present in Latvian forests. Those are psilocybe mushrooms, or skailgalvas, which in fact is a Greek translation of psilocybe. This is barhead mushrooms. And mushrooms are very, very interesting objects, in fact, and in fact they are more animals than plants, but I shall not go in details why they are so hidden animals. And they were classified in separate kingdom of life. And there's a lot of things, but today we are talking about psilocybe mushrooms, because they have skyrocketed their popularity in last, I would say, 5-6 years after it was in 2016, this paper was published. This diagram shows the number of papers published in different research journals, and altogether, from the very beginning on, when this record has been taken, it's about 1,700 papers, and during the last years, this is the numbers reaching several hundreds per year. Every day we have a new paper about psilocybin, and the interest is so activated through the discovery that psilocybin can produce substantial decrease in depression. That's what Storm was speaking about. The unhappiness can be somehow mitigated by the presence of psilocybin. In fact, we have a lot of psilocybe mushrooms in Latvia. There are altogether in the world, there are about 200 species, and in Latvia we have a good bunch, some dozen of them. And the most interesting in this respect, of course, is this Psilocybe similanciata, or Smila kalgal, which is in fact even more effective producer of psilocybin, this particular substance which we are talking about, because mostly those who know and those who are so secretly growing those mushrooms, they use Psilocybe cubanensis, which is an species of this kind, which produces some 3 times less of the active substance than our Latvian ones. So we have to look at our natural resources. So what is psilocybin? In psilocybin, in fact, there's many those psychoactive substances, is very close relative to natural substances, to the amino acid tryptophan, which is on this upper right corner, and its derivative is serotonin, which makes us happy and which is one of the neurotransmitters, which is rewarding us for our activities. So psilocybin, if you look at the structural formula, it's just one hydroxy group which is located in other position. It's in the center of the slide. And the mushrooms are part of this main psilocybin substance, which is converted to psilocin in our organism, and this is the active form of the substance. Apart of the psilocin, there's a bunch of other substances which all contribute to the end of pharmaceutical effect of the mushroom. If you look at the forest, there's other mushrooms too. Czech scientists have done such a survey looking for the most active and most abundant producers of those substances. And again, I shall not go into details. I'll just say that this psilocybin, which can be produced in our Semilanceata species, is one of the strongest and most abundant ones. How do we know this? We have to have animal tests. We have to be rather harsh and rather to try the animals to develop different models of depression, also included this chronic depression models in animals, and of course it seems to be not very ethical approach, but nothing to do. If we want to be sure and if we want to proceed towards really evidence-based research and try clinical applications of psilocybin, we have to start with the animal lab. There's a lot of interesting things doing in this field, but what is also important that the latest research has shown that not only natural psilocybin, also synthetic psilocybin or psilocin can be active and can be used in treatment and tests in animals and also in humans. Just half a year ago, very prominent English language journal, New England Journal of Medicine, published this research, which again boosted the interest towards the use of psilocybin in different diagnosis. If we want not to try animals and if we not to torture animals, although flies are also animals, but not vertebrates, not mammals, so we can even use now fly models to test psilocybin effectiveness. In Latvia, in general, I can say we have very sound and good basis for psilocybin research as eventual psychoactive substance. We have natural resources, I mentioned. Just go to the forest and you shall find something of that kind. We have analytical capacity at the university, at the Institute of Organic Synthesis. We have Institute of Organic Synthesis, which is very proficient and experienced in synthesizing neuroactive substances. We have available animal testing facilities at the university and also at the Institute of Organic Synthesis. We have available fly models if we don't want to torture rats or mouse. We have, as we have seen, a lot of medical indications and societal demand to do this research. So What we don't have, we have not such an appropriate legal framework. Legal framework is very restrictive, and in fact, those substances we are talking about are included in the list number 1, prohibited, particularly dangerous substances. This means that even at the research basis, it's very, very, next to impossible to obtain permission to do something with mushrooms or, oh, I'm sorry, I've got a bit too far, but no, nevertheless, in fact, it is the end of my talk, because in fact, we have to reconsider our attitude towards regulation, which is governing psilocybin and other psychoactive drugs research, because if compared to the eventual or practical harm which is caused by all those substances, the mushrooms are at the very bottom of the list. So, thank you. Let's consider all that specific. Thank you very much. And this is not psilocybin, mycelium. This is shiitake mycelium. That's also a very good thing to have, because it has very potent immunomodulating properties. So it helps against COVID.
Paldies.